Hi everybody, it's Donna from donnasdreamworks.blogspot.com, and I thought I'd show you how I put together a couple of cards today. Actually, I was flipping through some of my favorite card sites, and I came across this card, or one similar to it, on Cards TV. Everybody must know Mary over at Cards TV. This is called a twisted easel card. Now I bet most of us have made easel cards before. The difference with this one is that when it opens to the side and stands up this way. Okay? And yet when it is put down, it fits in an A2 size envelope. This is a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. This card I made for my sister's birthday that is next week, and I'm thinking I may embellish over here a little bit, although it may not show up well on video, but this is a gold outlined flower here, which is really quite pretty. So when it opens up, the happy birthday, and I computer generated a sentiment here, and then I'll just sign her name down here. I think they're really kind of cute. I had fun making it. So I thought I'd show you how to put it together today. Just one tricky step, although it's not even that tricky, but I'll show you how it's done. I'm going to start with a piece of cardstock of your choice that is 4 1/4 by 9 3/4. Okay, 4 1/4 by 9 3/4, and you're going to score it at 5 1/2. And this is Stampin' Up cardstock, so it's quite heavy. So I'm going to score it a couple of times. Okay. Now, the next thing you're going to do is to create a fold, which is what folds out this way. If you look at the back of the card, okay, you've created a fold. Now, what you're going to do is score from this point to this point. If you use a scoreboard, what I did, if you can see it on here, is I just took a pencil and made a line down one of the grooves so I could follow it with both the top and the bottom of my cardstock. It's really kind of hard to see on a scoreboard where the top and the bottom of the same score line are. To me, this is actually one of those times when you're better off to use your cutter and just use the channel of the cutter. Now, this is the shorter of the two sides that we're scoring, okay? Again, you're just going to line up the top of that and the bottom. The top and the bottom. And score. I think that's an easier way, although the scoreboard is certainly accessible. What you're going to do now is you're going to fold this over, get a nice crease, and then you're going to take this piece and fold it down. And it really should fold so that it's even with the bottom. And if your score line is not just perfect, you can even it off at this time. Okay, so we have a fold here and a fold here. And this becomes the base of the card when it's open. And so I have some designer paper here, and it's from K & Company, and I'm going to put a piece on the inside. Well, this is an ATG gun is giving me some issues. Now what I did with my designer papers is I cut them just an 1/8 of an inch shorter than the original, because I didn't want a lot of border. I really wanted to fill in, but just have a little border around the edge. Now you have one more piece of cardstock to cut, and this is the front of your card. This is this part right here, and this is the one that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And this one here, because you remember we scored it at 5 1/2, is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now what happens with this one is that it's going to be placed on this fold down piece. If you put it here so the fold down piece is facing you, you're going to take the long side of the cardstock and adhere it to that little flap. Okay? And the easiest way to do that, and I'm going to try this gun one more time, otherwise I'll have to get another one. Well, that one worked. Okay, get a little off the edge here. Okay, the easiest way to do that is to hold this closed and line up the corner up here, and then just keep it right along the edge of the card. And so it adheres like this. Now, when it opens, it will stand like this, and when it lays down flat like this, and it will fit in your A2 size envelope. Now, I didn't get that quite even there. I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to be just fine. So I'm going to continue with some layering on this top piece. And the next piece I have is a piece of the same designer paper that I have on the inside. Well, that's a new roll, and I'm not terribly impressed with it. Let me just give one more strip here. It didn't seem to want to come off very well. There we go. Sometimes these things work just great, and other times they're very frustrating. Okay, again, I just did about 1/8 of an inch. And I have an additional piece that will go on the top of this one. Well, excuse me, I'm going to get the other ATG gun because I could fool around all day with that one. Guess what? The other ATG gun isn't loaded yet, so we'll see. If not, I'm just going to use some, we seem to get it now. It's an off again, on again type of situation here. Well, and let's see. I think I would like it to go like this. There. Again, when the card is open, it's going to fold up like this. Now, on the first card, if you notice, if you remember, I didn't cricketize it. I used a stamp and a birthday cake for my sister for her birthday. But on this one, I thought I'd make an anniversary card for my son and his wife. So I decided to do a little cricketizing on this one. And I did some pears from the preserve cartridge, and they fit nicely right over to the side here. And I think I'm going to put probably some little sparkles on there, but I think this is the perfect one to use an action wobble on. So we'll use one of those. And what I did with this is I actually cut another layer underneath out of black, because it's not showing, because I wanted to make sure it had enough stiffness that it was going to work well with the wobble. Okay. Well, adhesive seems to be my nemesis today. It either won't come out or it won't come off. Okay. Alright, now let's see. I think maybe right about here. That's cute. And my sentiment, I gotta put a little bit of glue pen here. This paper, designer paper, has a little bit of a silky texture to it, and sometimes it's a little difficult to get it to get things adhered to it. And I'm just going to use my glue pen here. And I think we'll put that right about up here. I'm not one for making things straight on a card. I kind of like them to move around. Okay, now on the inside, I'm going to have something to hold it open as the stop. And I have printed Happy Anniversary. Now, and I just left it like this to show you what I sometimes do. This was at 3 inches, but these I just print out, I think this was printed at a 20 font. And what I do is I just cut it out to what it needs to be, mount it on the next color, and then trim around. And then you can see I mounted it on the last color. And what I'll do is just trim around this. So the size is basically whatever size you want it to be. To fit your sentiment. So I really can't give you a size on this one. This is just a little tricky because it's small. I want to get that straight. Alright, okay, Happy Anniversary. And I'm just going to pop that up on some foam dots. Oh my, 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 my. Okay. Now what I do is I set this up so that the point here is just to the edge of the card, and that's where I want it to stand when the card is open. So holding it there, I can see where to place my stop. And I will place it, okay, right about here. There. Okay. Happy Anniversary. Now, what I will probably do is to do another little sort of a plain mat where I can put my personal sentiments and sign the card and everything on the other side. But I think it really came out cute. This is a twisted easel card. Here's one. Here's two. Have fun, and thanks for joining me. Bye.